Hi, it's Sarah. I am going to do a project with all of you, which is making one of the props for our show. So I do a bunch of crafting for shows like this, for projects where the company is kind of making all the things ourselves, and we're gonna make a magical flower today. There's a super important prop in both A Midsummer Night's Dream and Midsummer, which is the magical flower that makes anyone who has the juice of it put in their eyes fall in love with whoever they see next, known as Love-in-Idleness. So we're going to make Love-in-Idleness, which, it's been a little bit different every show, every time we've done this production. And we're still kind of playing around with what exactly it should feel and look like. In terms of like dramaturgical research, Love-in-Idleness refers to an actual flower, which is a wild pansy, which is kind of lovely because I feel like you hear what the prop can do, or I mean what the item can do in the context of the play, and you think that it might be this sort of dramatic, this like dramatic plant. Or dramatic, visually dramatic, but it's kind of nice because Puck actually does say, or Puck in the context of our show, Oberon in the context of the original play, describes it as a little western flower, before milk white, now purple with love's wound. And I like that, like going back to the idea that it's actually quite small, the wild pansy, and pansies have that thing where the color in the center of them does sort of seem to bleed. So that idea of like a combination of white and purple is kind of interesting. So what are we starting with? We're starting with some actual flowery things that I found at Michael's. And I'm gonna kind of put them together and see if I can make a more unique looking plant. We are also starting with a strand of these tiny little LED lights to create our magic element. And we have a bunch of other things here. We've got some twine, we've got a bunch of different sizes of wire, we've got some interesting little like wire stems, got some like raffia paper in the wrong color because I couldn't find green, so we'll do some painting if we need it. And handy, ever useful hot glue. So we'll see. This isn't something I've done before, as is the case with most of the projects I do like this. I just sort of figure it out as I go along. So let's see what happens. Okay, so you can see that I have taken a bunch of the blooms off of the little artificial plants I have. You can also see my fan and my light. And I'm gonna see if I can thread the LEDs into each of these blooms so that the center of the bloom becomes a little light when the lights are turned on. So I've made a kind of combination of the two different types of flowers I got. I kind of took a pansy and stuck it in the middle of one of these more like little morning glory type of flowers, because I like the sort of harder to pin down look of it. And let's see, oh, hang on, my little stamen piece came out. Okay, cool. So I've got my LED sort of threaded up in there, and yeah. Okay, so we've got our little first light up bloom. Okay, I just cut out all the very fiddly bits of getting the light up through this little, sort of plant stem bit. And now we're going to attempt to, yep, okay, great. So we've got our full little flower, including greenery there. And now we're gonna attempt to kind of wind the light thread through a bunch of other flowers and cover up the lights that are kind of, that wouldn't end up in the center of a flower, so that we only get lights as the, in the sort of center of our flowers when we light the strand up. Okay, we've made some progress. We now have a 2 bloom stalk. We've got 2 wired blooms. And right now I'm just holding the sort of pieces of it that I'm cobbling together with this like green kind of floral wire. I'm holding it all together with spike tape. So eventually I'll probably wrap the whole thing in some kind of like raffia and paint it back green and get it a kind of more organic look. But now let's see, we've got, yeah, okay, so we still have a little more of like light to cover up in our stem, but we have 2 blooms that light up. Let's make more. Okay, so now we have a 4 bloom flower. So this has been a process of like deconstructing each of the individual blooms that came off of, you know, the store-bought thing like this, and kind of combining them by taking apart all of the middle stuff, threading the light through the middle, and then anchoring them in place to this stem. And along the way, I'm kind of trying to cover up the other lights in the stem, which I still have more to do. But for now, so there we go, 4 blooms on 1 stem. A little Love-in-Idleness magic. Okay, so now we've got a 4 bloom flower where the all the sort of points, the extra points of light on our LED strand have been covered up with gaff tape, the theater's most useful item. So at this point, and my little battery pack is kind of hiding at the bottom, I think I'm gonna maybe try to obscure it with some leaves eventually. So at this point, we've got our little lights coming on, but you can't really see any illumination in the stalk at all, which is good. So here are our little light up flower bits. And 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're back. Sans shirt because I have the air conditioning off so that you can hear me in this video. So here we are. We have wrapped the flower in raffia, which is this kind of like strange, like, I have it in ribbon form, but then you can like unspool the ribbon itself into this like wonderful crinkly paper, and it makes a really good kind of nice wrappable texture when you tear it into strips like this. So now we've got a fully covered flower, so when our lights come on, we can't see anything in the stem, and we're sort of ready to paint and decorate and add leaves and stuff. Okay, so now we have some leaves, and there's hot glue everywhere. On my fingers, on the table, in the air, hot glue strings for days. So that's fun. This one I've decided needs a stronger type of glue, so we're holding it on there with a binder clip for a while. Okay, so now we've got this weird magical little roots and greenery conglomeration at the bottom of our flower, which is pretty much hiding our battery. There she is in there. So at this point, if I want to play around with the lights, I basically just have to hold it at the base and turn it on and off like this. All right, everybody, we are as close to done as we're gonna get in this video. So here's the very messy workstation, and here is our flower. She has turned green. She's got these like hangy rootsies at the bottom, and yeah, and she lights up. So let's see here. We've got the ability to light her up, and this is sort of her final form at the moment. Let's go look at her in the dark. Here she is! Look at that magic flower. Love-in-Idleness, everybody! Cool. I hope, I'm legitimately in my closet. I hope you had a great time watching this video about crafting one of our magical props. Bye!